What's up, everyone? I just gotta stop the train sounds. I gotta stop it now.
Yeah, you gotta stop
off.
that train. The train's
train
at the
is
station.
stopped. We are
It's
here.
at the station.
We
It's
are
arrived.
live, everyone. Oh, I gotta mute me on all the stuff so I don't hear me twice over. But yo, it's good to be back. It's another episode of the Trainman Report. This is the 13th episode, 13 weeks in a row.
Wow.
Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are going live over at the Trainman Report on YouTube. We're on Alex Montagano's Facebook page, which gets shared over to Thrive NDG, the local group. We're also on Twitter at the Trainman Report. I don't think anyone watches there, but we're streaming there. And we're over on all these places.
You mean X. You mean X, formerly known as Twitter, right?
I mean, you still go to twitter.com when you go to the site. You don't go
to
really?
X.com.
It redirects you back to Twitter.
I didn't know that.
And this will also be available on Spotify and all your podcasting networks after the fact for those that are there. And if you do listen to this on a podcasting network over one of the other things, let me know, because I would love to know that people are actually doing that.
Yeah.
On that note, we have, my name is Holden Stephan Roy. Alex Montagano is over there to the side of me, and we have a very special guest tonight, Mr. Clifford Schwartz, representing the Wheel Club. Honestly, just before Alex does his introductions, Cliff has done a lot in my life to help in terms of letting us come through the Wheel Club and throw events there and build up our little clout and, corner of it. A lot of people really enjoyed the experience of going there, and it was really great. And Cliff just made that really easy for us and gave a lot of people a space to come in the middle of NDG, which, if you've heard me complain about this type of thing in the past, I'm not thrilled with the state of venues in NDG, but arguably the Wheel Club's the exception to that rule. And Cliff has definitely helped create a very open-minded, accepting place for people of all genres of music, including the rappers, even the rappers that rap about gangster shit.
Always a pleasure, Holden.
You got gangster rappers that come to your establishment, Cliff? I didn't know about that.
It's been known to happen.
I've missed that show.
Oh, man. Yeah. Well, I don't know where you were. We had it like several weeks. We invited you, and I waited.
Should have come, Alex.
You waited for me, eh?
It's
like, where's Alex?
Oh,
this
man.
This is his jam.
looks like we'll have to promote better at you specifically.
Well, I really saying that, Clifford. I know you both, you and Cindy, and I think I've told you and I've told Cindy that drop me a line, a loop when you really want to promote like a big show, where I'd be more than happy to promote your establishment.
5 days a week.
Okay. So there's always something going on at the Wheel Club. But to be honest with you, I admit in my ignorance, right, that I knew very little about the Wheel Club, and I continue to know very little about your establishment. And I like to go out and partake in the exercise of socializing with my compatriots, if I can say that, and hit the sauce, as it said.
Right.
And your establishment is like right around the corner for me. It's on Cavendish. It's like the closest thing that's out there, and it's just like, why didn't I know about this? It's like I was kind of put off. I was put off by myself. I'm like, Alex, what's up, you ignoramus? Why is it you don't know about the Wheel Club? So I'm really confused or lost to how to really proceed with this interview, because there's you, the man, Clifford, and I know you because you approached me a while back during the pandemic to do a piece on the trains, and you were running the NDG TV. And I know there was some music, live NEG music that was being featured in those videos. And then you are a co-owner, and as you mentioned earlier in some text, you're the majority owner of Wheel Club. So we'll call you El Presidente, as you declared,
Gracias.
as you declared as your preference. And I'm just like, I don't know where to start.
Also, according to Chris Chrome, Cliff and Chris Chrome are neighbors.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so you're Clifford. I should point that you're an NDGer as well. So that's
Absolutely.
An important component of this interview. So, too much ado. Like, let's start with. I think we should start with the Wheel Club. What is the Wheel Club? What's the history of the Wheel Club? Then we'll get to you and your origin story, because I think it's important that we put the Wheel Club as kind of, in context for everybody, and myself included.
Sure.
Shout
Yeah,
out
I
the
mean,
Wheel Club.
you, as you correctly pointed out, it's kind of a hidden gem, and a lot of people don't know that it's there. And in fact, I go up and down Cavendish countless times over the years and have no clue that it was actually there. At a certain point, I started hearing about a bluegrass and country jam that would go on, like an open mic that a lot of people went to, but I had no idea really where it was. And of course it's truly hidden. I mean, it's down the stairs. You can see the signs happily now from the street if you drive by or walk by, but otherwise you wouldn't know that it's there. So the place has been there since post-World War II, when the building was built, and it was originally a veterans club. And in fact, still to this day, the official name of the place is le Club Social des Vétérans de Service Public du Québec. So it's actually still, for all intents and purposes, a veterans club, at least in its yeah.
In name.
It kind of feels that way when you walk into the place. It's got like a little bit of a Legion vibe. It used to have a lot more of a Legion vibe before we took it over, and try to give it more of a club feel, which it's got today. But before, it really did feel like a Legion before we got there. So
Right.
It was originally named the Wheel Club by the Navy veterans that would frequent the place just after World War II, and they named it after the wheel of a ship. So that's how it got its name.
The big wheel that steers a ship, is that what you're referring to? Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. Steering wheel of the ship. Yeah. Got it. Holden?
No, I was just listening.
Yeah, okay. So that's what it was for a good long time, and eventually a fellow by the name of Richard Hearn took the place over in the 80s. And he too is a service veteran. In fact, he was a City of Westmount firefighter. And he kind of made it his place, still welcoming so many service veterans. So, that meant like emergency workers of all kinds, police, fire, ambulance, etc. And he kept it going in that context, and eventually started to introduce music. So what happened at a certain point was a fellow by the name of Bob Fuller looked at the place. So Bob Fuller is a guy that runs, or did run, Hillbilly Night. He passed away, I guess, about 6 years ago.
All right.
But he started Hillbilly Night in like 1966.
Right.
At a place called the Blue Angel downtown. I think was on Metcalf, if I'm not mistaken.
1966. This is before I was born. Okay.
I know, right?
It's a really long time ago.
Yeah. That was a long time before I was born. So he approached Richard Hearn and said, "We're looking for a new place because the Blue Angel is about to close, and can we do this over here?" So they moved it over to the Wheel Club, and then the place became kind of known for Hillbilly Night, which is now the longest running open mic night in the city.
Wow. Now my son just got home, but it's okay. But the Hillbilly Night, what, you actually play hillbilly music, or you're just open night music night?
Well, it's country and bluegrass music pre-1969 only, and they're very strict about that.
Right.
Nobody can play anything after 1969. And it's all played on acoustic instruments. There are no electric instruments to be found. There's no drums. There's no piano. They really want to keep that authentic old country and bluegrass vibe, which they've done really, really well. In fact, it's such a unique and an authentic experience here in Montreal that, when people come up from the States, for example, they've heard about it, however they found out about it. And they check it out, and they're just absolutely blown away because it brings them right back to a place that they might have frequented in their, hometown in Tennessee or what have you.
So this is still happening now.
Yeah, no. So I was gonna say, the longest running open mic in Montreal is a bluegrass hillbilly night with a music year cap of 1969 that plays acoustic instruments. That's exactly a wild thought.
And NDG, ladies and gentlemen, NDG.
honestly, if you walk in, it's every Monday night, and music
Okay, here we
starts.
go.
So doors open at 7 p.m. and music starts around 8. But you seriously feel like you just entered like a time warp. You're in another place and time entirely. You've got three generations of country and bluegrass lovers all partying together, young and old. It's really you can't believe that this exists in Montreal and that you haven't even heard about it yet. You know?
Yeah, I'm like I want to slap myself for my ignorance again
Well, it's
because
okay.
I
You will
now I
be
know.
you'll be coming
I
by
Now
and
you
you'll be
know what
hooked.
you're gonna do on Monday night next week.
I know what I'm doing on Monday night. I know I'm
And it's
gonna be going. Yeah,
whether
go
you like
ahead.
country and bluegrass music or not, it doesn't
Right.
matter. You will absolutely be thrilled to be there. It's just got such an authentic vibe to it that it's an experience every Monday night.
I like all music. I'm really not really I don't there's no music genre that I don't enjoy on some level.
Good for you.
I think that life is a celebration, and I think that we're blessed to have so many different styles and genres of music.
Totally.
Uh, I think it's cool. So I didn't know like on Monday nights you had this. Okay, so here we are. You've got you're talking about a guy who had a gig going at the Blue Angel prior to the date of my birth. So in 66, 67, he's now got this bluegrass open mic thing happening on a Monday night. And we're talking what? This is the 80s now? This is
That
the
would have
80s.
been well, so when they brought it to the Wheel Club was in the 90s, mid 90s.
Okay. Okay.
It had already been going for a good long time before that, but they needed a
Right.
new home
Got
because of the
it.
closure of the Blue Angel.
Got
So
it.
brought it over to the club, and then that kind of became the thing with the Wheel Club. Is everybody really knew it for this country and bluegrass thing, and so they got these wagon wheels that they put up on the stage, and so everybody kind of thought, oh, the Wheel Club and the wagon wheels must be a country bar. It was
Right.
never intended to be a country and western bar at all,
Right.
but it was known for Hillbilly Night on Mondays. So a lot of people felt and might still feel that way about it. We've been trying now for 5 years to shed that image of the club because we don't want it to be a country and western bar. We don't want it to be known for that. We're very happy to have Hillbilly Night there, of course. We're honored. But like you just said, to us, we always say, tell people there's only two kinds of music, good and bad, and it really doesn't
Right.
matter what the style is. So
Exactly.
so we try to feature as much as we possibly can.
That you hit that right on the nail because I was having a conversation with someone about electronic music and they were very poo-pooey about it. And I said, well, electronic music's like any other genre of music. You got
Yeah,
good electronic music and you have bad electronic
right.
music, right?
Yeah, no,
And
exactly.
and
Even industrial, oh no, not industrial music, never mind. That one's the exception.
I'm not
There's no
gonna
such
get in that artistic debate with you there,
there's
Clifford.
no such thing as bad industrial music. That's what I
That's
meant to say.
okay. I really don't know
I'm
industrial
like, I don't
music
know
that
if I
well.
agree with that one either.
No. I'm just being silly.
So here we are in the 90s, and you guys, now you've talked about how you're trying to reorient the bar to be known more than a country bar or a bluegrass or hillbilly bar. But hillbilly has kind of appeal to it. I gotta admit to
There you go.
there's no pressure on me to dress up or anything,
It's
right?
no pressure. But people do, mind you. I mean,
But you
they
should,
show up in
Alex.
there. You
You
should
should come
definitely
as a
get it.
hillbilly.
Break out your cowboy hat. Get off the
I have
cowboy.
stories about that, but whatever, go on. So
And people line dance there. I mean, it's really the shirts, the checkered shirts, the whole nine.
people do dance at Wheel Club, which is surprising for me because it's been a long time since I've been to an establishment, especially where they play live music and people are actually dancing to the band, and it happens at Wheel Club. So I love it. I think it's just awesome. But
The music
yeah,
moves people. Yeah.
yeah. But moving on, like I want to get back to when did what date, what year did you take reins of this like this historical, iconic like establishment that I knew nothing about, which I'm
Oh,
so embarrassed about. I just
oh,
really, I'm
that's
beside
okay.
myself.
I've forgiven you a long time ago,
Thank
Alex.
you
And
very
when you
much.
first showed up at the door, I thought, okay, now you've been redeemed. It's
All
all good.
righty. I try to make
Uh,
it part of my regular, how do you say, stops or, bar hopping, if I could use that expression. But go
oh
ahead.
man. Yeah, how many bars can you hop to in NDG exactly?
You'd be surprised.
Oh yeah?
3.
Okay.
I would say 3. No,
That's
4.
it.
Yeah,
Actually,
four.
as I think about it, there's Goldies, there's the question mark bar, there's Wheel Club, then
Honey
there's
Martin, of course.
Martin.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I
then
don't
it's
think there's
8
a
then,
fifth.
'cause I don't hit those. I hit the Wheel Club, Honey
Oh, you're
Martin,
right. There is more. There's the one on
old,
Summerland.
old Orchard. There's
That's fair.
Yeah, no, that's
the
true. There's also
Typhoon, the
next
Typhoon.
next door pub on Sherbrooke Street.
Yeah,
I
on
also
the
forgot about Typhoon. That's a
Typhoon,
good
yeah.
point.
But we're here to talk about the Wheel Club, aren't we?
yes,
Well, the
we
Wheel
are.
Club, here we can say is the Wheel Club has fantastic sound. Like if you
Oh,
are
yeah.
a musician looking to perform, oh my gosh, the Wheel Club comes correct when it comes to sound quality that you're going to
Okay.
get as.
I don't want to get off track
Okay.
here because I want to stay on course.
Okay.
So, when did you personally get involved with the Wheel Club? Then, what year was that?
So this happened almost exactly 5 years ago. Actually, it was mid February when I had made a call. Actually, I saw an article on the CBC website that said that the place was in danger of closing,
Right.
and they were looking for somebody to take on the reins. So I made a call, and that was mid-February. And I often tell people how I was just sucked in like a strong undertow or the current of a river, because just all the doors flew open. I mean, right from that call. So I made the call, and the guy, the owner, Richard, said, "Well, I'm here with my accountant. Why don't you come on over now if you can?" I said, "Okay, I live right around the corner. I'll be right over." So I walked in, and I mean, it wasn't hard to make a deal with them and make the transition. Um, we decided that we would try it for a couple of months and just see how it would go. So officially, that was mid-February, and then by mid-April, we were officially the new people, new
So,
proprietors.
so you've been at this 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah.
One of the other lovely people that I run into your establishment that I is Cindy.
Yeah.
And Cindy is also involved with you in this project. She is a woman who has been involved with the club night scene in Montreal for decades, right? So could you just give us like a short capsule of how she got involved with this project?
Yeah. So pre-COVID,
Right.
I had asked her if she wanted to promote shows, because at that point I knew her as a promoter, concert promoter.
Right.
And so I was really anxious for her to bring, a show and fill the place up, as a club owner should do. They're always looking for people who can fill the place up with quality stuff. So I called her up, and she came down and she checked the place out. And at the time, we hadn't yet done the work on it that you see now. So she came in, she said, yeah, I know this place. It's nice. Maybe we could work together. I think you got a little bit of work to do on the look of it and all that kind of stuff. So I understood what she meant. And then that was that. So then COVID hit, and was it at that point that I guess we were about to open up finally after restrictions, and I'd had another meeting with her, and she saw that in fact we had done great work to the place. The ceiling had been painted black, instead of the white office, ceiling tiles that you see, and lighting
Right.
and stuff like that. And she was much more interested in getting involved. But at the same time, we were also looking for somebody who could really be a bar manager. And she was the right person. I had approached her really to ask her, would you be interested in being involved in that capacity and become a partner? So she said yes, and one of the best decisions we ever made.
Yeah, and I should tell our listeners that the Wheel Club features special drinks and they're quite interesting and unique. So
Yeah.
if you're looking to go out and try something perhaps that you've never tried before, and
Cindy Turner's amazing. I mean,
yeah,
seriously,
Also,
she knows the business like nobody. Yeah. Yeah.
and there's food as well. So if you
Yeah.
go there on an empty stomach, she's got you covered.
I
So
will
Yeah.
say
you
that
don't have to
I've
worry about that
gotten
either.
drunker than expected at the Wheel Club by accident because the drinks are also generous, which
They're
is
very
worth pointing
generous
out.
and extremely
And
reasonably priced.
so
Much
you're
appreciated.
on a $20, you're going a little bit loopier than you were expecting, kind of
Yeah,
thing.
that
Especially,
that is a correct
especially when
statement.
their like monthly special lines up with your palate, and you're just kind of like, "Ooh, that monthly special's real good."
Yeah, right,
Well,
right,
yeah. I mean, you got to keep them coming back somehow, right?
right. So saying that, let's go back to you. Here you are, Clifford Schwartz. You are a resident of NDG. What is your origin story? What is your why are you here? Where did you come from? We ask our guests these questions, and because I think it's important that we discover and explore.
Are we talking philosophically now,
Well, no, and
or
you're kind of
physically?
like physically, I guess, philosophically. Like,
Mental.
what is you were like? Let's start with the basic. Where were you born? Were you born in NDG?
No, no, Cotonage actually.
Okay,
Yeah, I grew up behind the Plaza Cotonage.
I know that area.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
I was
What what
sandwiched
what what
up
hospital were you born in?
the Jewish General,
Okay, fair
which
enough.
was in the neighborhood, of course, at the time.
Right.
But yeah, I was sandwiched between the parking lot of the Plaza Cotonage, and I had Northmount High School as my backyard. Like the schoolyard was my
I
backyard.
know that. I know that
Yeah,
high school. I used to drive by it on a daily basis. Yes.
yeah. It was a fun neighborhood in so many ways.
Right.
But yeah, so that's where I was born, and
It's changed so much. It's not the neighborhood you knew when you were a kid at all now, is it?
yeah, it's got its similarities, but no, it has changed for sure. I mean, it
Mhm.
used to be demographically much less diverse than it is now, shall we say.
Was there you're Jewish, right? You've told me that.
Yep.
Was that a Jewish neighborhood back then? Like
So at the time, it was almost entirely black, the
oh, really?
neighborhood, with a couple of streets of mostly Holocaust survivors.
Okay.
And so
Black West Indians we're talking about here.
a big Jamaican population for
Okay,
sure.
all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that
I didn't
was
I didn't know that.
yeah, at the time. With I mean, there was small, enclaves of other, other cultures and what have you, but it was predominantly Black West Indian, and with a little sprinkling of Jews here and there.
Which
So,
included you.
which included me.
So here
Uh,
you are, a young man living in this area next to Cotonage Shopping Center off Cotonage Road. Where did this young man go? Where did his life path take him?
well, so moved to a couple of different places over the years. Eventually ended up in my 20s in Old Montreal in a nice loft, and then eventually moved to Orlando. Well, okay, so I should say, in terms of my career path, I've always loved music, and I've always been a musician, working professionally from age 15, in addition to other endeavors, because as a musician, I knew that I wasn't going to necessarily be able to make a living right away, just doing that. So I always did other things. I studied engineering, sciences, what have you, but then ended up being an entrepreneur. I started a graphic design company, which turned website development firm in the 90s, but all the while playing music. And then at a certain point, my partners bought me out of my website development company, and I was working freelance for a bit, but I was offered the job playing guitar for Cirque du Soleil. So I grabbed that opportunity, because, hey, it was Cirque du Soleil. And
Yeah. Hey, it's a Cirque du Soleil. And back then the
I
Cirque
got
du Soleil was like, it was new, it was exciting. And not to say it's not exciting new now, but back then it was a real novelty, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At this point, it's probably saturated, I think.
Yeah.
I mean,
Last
now
last
it's
Cirque du
like
Soleil.
it's a big global cred though. Like if
Yeah.
it's like I would still take that gig without thinking twice. That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely. I mean, it set me on my career path big time. Not to mention it was a great living. So I grabbed the opportunity and moved to Orlando, and that was in 1998. And got to be, my dream was to be a full-time musician. It was never to run away with the circus, mind you. Eventually, I had a dream of running away from the circus, which came true in 2005. So my wife and I moved back to Montreal. She had
Right.
joined me in Orlando, but I'd met her here.
Okay.
And
Thank God for that.
yeah, indeed, yes.
and that was a slight against people from Florida.
From
Yes,
Florida,
it
yeah, I know.
was.
We won't get into it.
No, we won't.
No. But yeah, so we came back to Montreal and we moved to NDG right away.
Excellent.
And in fact, during the time that we were kind of making moves to come back here, I started to renovate an upper duplex, which would be right up your alley, Alex.
Yes.
It was like a head to toe massive renovation where we were tearing down, supporting walls and bringing the kitchen from the front to the back, and we made it onto the cover of Home Front of the Gazette at the time. And
wow.
so I always had this thing about, I always had a love of architecture actually, and I had studied building engineering, which was a mistake because it really isn't architecture. I should have gone for architecture, which is what I really wanted to do. But they also say that architecture is like frozen music, and music being my other prime love, I just ended up really doing music with some renovations here and
there. They're both artistic endeavors, yes.
Yeah. So we lived there for a few years, and then eventually moved to a house also in NDG that is not far from the Wheel Club. And so when I found out that the club was available, I was kind of at the point. I had managed to continue working full-time in music from the time I got back from Orlando in 2005. And like you said, Holden, when you've got that on your CV, it opens a lot of doors. And happily, I was able to make that my living. I had a band called Solvation, which we started in 2005, right when I got back. And that band ended up doing really, really well for some 13 years. Doing so many corporate events and private parties and bars. In fact, we used to play at Next Door. We were there for Next Door Pub on Sherbrooke for 4 years, and so really blessed with being able to do that, and helping so many bars do well with live music over the years. Probably about 4 or 5 different bars that we really helped to kind of get off the ground from starting point. So there was always this thought, well, maybe we should start our own, find our own place to do that. And it never happened. The band ended up breaking up. It kind of transformed into another band called Superfly, which still exists today. And Superfly ended up helping another place called Rosewood in Old Montreal to do better and better. And they made me a partner there because and first I was like their musical director. I was starting to book other bands and what have you. They gave me a share of the business. Anyway, that came crashing to a halt with COVID. But even before that, I had ended up acquiring the Wheel Club. So figuring that, it's right around the corner for me, and I might as well take this place that's a hidden gem and try to transform it into what it is today and really turn it into an actual music venue. Because that's what I know. I know how to find great live music, and if I can't put it together myself, I'll find it elsewhere, and that's what it is today.
That's a fantastic story, and I want to thank you. It's a bit presumptuous of me, but on behalf of NDGers, for taking over the Wheel Club and continuing to make it what it is, because when I was a young man in Montreal, one of the things I did note about the scene in Montreal was that compared to other cities, we didn't have as a vibrant live music scene. That was kind of my impression of Montreal, as more of a disco dance club kind of city. I don't know if you agree with that or disagree with that. I remember when I was young, the big live gig place was Station 10. Do you remember that place?
I played there, yeah, a few times.
And then there was Foo Fun Electric, and then that was kind of the punk place. So these are the places, and obviously the Spectrum. There was the Metropolis, and then obviously the Forum, the big venues, right?
Well, in
And
the 90s, there was quite a bit going on. I mean, that was really when I started to
oh
get
yeah,
into playing live, and there were actually quite a few places. Jello Bar. I mean, I was always an
Jello Bar.
R&B.
Yes, Jello Bar was a great live music, and they had really good bands there. Thank you for reminding me about Jello Bar. Yeah.
Yeah, no
Uh,
problem. I mean, there were a number of places like that
And
all up and down San Juan.
Wax,
Wax,
yeah, and remember DeSalvio was a big
DeSalvio, yeah.
joint for a while for acid jazz. Okay, now it's
Yeah, yeah.
coming back.
Well, so
Now it's
that's it.
coming back.
So in the
Yeah,
90s, I had an
all
acid
the
jazz
haze,
band.
right?
Exactly. In the 90s, I had an acid jazz band called Fresh with a
You
capital
did.
PH.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
so
yeah.
cool. I loved
And
acid jazz. I thought it was the greatest thing.
and
Yeah.
those were all the places that we were playing. And in fact, it
Good.
was the trumpet player in my band that got the job as the band leader for the Cirque du Soleil gig. And
Good.
he grabbed me and the singer Desi
Oh,
DeLauro and the
I see.
saxophonist, and then yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm
yeah.
friends. I'm childhood friends with Heg Vey, who was the producer of Brand Van,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, and Steve, aka Liquid, the rapper, comes by the Wheel Club all the time, and he's a co-founding member of Brand Van
oh yeah.
as
So
well. Yeah,
there.
yeah,
See, we're connected. Everybody in Montreal is somehow connected. I was its stories always interconnect somewhere. It's
yeah, right.
strange that way.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
um that's a great story, and thank you very much for sharing this. So I have been to the Wheel Club, and I just wanted to share with the listeners some of the things that I'm able to do there when I go over. First of all, of course, there's pool. There's a great pool table, so you can shoot some pool. So if you want to go down there with a friend and you're looking for, an evening out, you can play pool. They have
Free pool table
it's
then.
free. I didn't know
Yeah,
it was free. Okay,
no,
that's
that's
news
right.
to me because your pinball is not free, but you
No,
have
pinball's not free.
you have pinball machines there, and I believe they come from
Pinball
pinball medic.
medics.
Yeah,
Yeah,
medics right on Girard.
Girard. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and we should have someone from pinball medics on the show.
That would be a great show. I'd be happy to
No,
hook you up there.
yeah, note this out.
That's wonderful.
And you,
And
and
they
you have
supply
it.
the video games.
Yeah, and you have a vintage Pac-Man machine. Now, this
That's
is
from them as well. Yeah.
this is a Pac-Man machine that you sit at and you can play against an opponent, right? You each take a turn, of course, but it's like a table. It's not like the arcade that you stand at,
Well,
right?
we have the arcade one as well.
Oh,
where
you
the pool
do?
table is.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a Pac-Man,
Right.
like stand-up version, and then we have the two table ones, which actually have multiple games. So, you've got Donkey Kong and I don't know, Mario Brothers and all
old-timer
Frogger,
games, right?
yeah, all the old stuff from the 80s that
Yeah.
everybody.
It's just
Yeah.
awesome. And then obviously you have adult treats, right? Booze.
Well, hey,
Lots of booze. It's a fully stocked bar.
pays the bills, yeah.
Everything is there. I've never been at your establishment and asked for something and you said, no, we don't have that. No, you have it all.
All right.
So-
That's thanks to Cindy.
That's Cindy. That's
Cindy
right.
Turner,
But
yeah.
mind you, I'm easy to please, right? I'm a gin and soda drinker, right? It's not,
Oh,
and
yeah.
limes, but you have the limes. So there you
We've
go.
got the lines, yeah. We don't make those.
And then you have live music. Now, I know that Holden has rapped there, right?
Mhm.
And just to tell, the listeners some of the experiences I've had here, I've walked into your establishment, there's like a 20-piece big band playing. So
Yeah.
I don't know if any of you are familiar with the big band music from I'm guessing it's the 40s and 50s when that was the big thing.
20s even, as
yeah,
far back
20s.
as, yeah.
It just blew me away because I played trombone in the school band when I was a young man, and asked me how good of a trombone player I was there, Clifford.
How good of a trombone?
I sucked so badly. It was terrible.
I don't see it hanging on your wall, so
I should have been condemned to never play it again,
it's okay. You've got other talents.
But I had fun with it, and I played in the band, and I was able to enjoy the experience of creating music with other people, which I think is an important experience. So I was able to do that, I go there also. You have 80s band, rock and roll bands. You had a big rock and roll band there from the South Shore recently, and alternative 80s always pops up. I'm always listening to tunes from the 80s that I remember. Could you follow? There's other bands that you have there. I'm not hitting the entire list, of course. There's more, right?
Lots and lots, yeah.
Right.
I mean, it goes on. I mean, So we've got lots of tribute bands that come through. Those are always a big hit, typically with the public. So like this weekend, for example, we have Help, the Beatles tribute, which is absolutely phenomenal. Followed, that's on Friday, and on Saturday we have a Bruce Springsteen tribute
Just
with
stop.
Melissa. Yeah,
The Beatles, is that Pascal? Is Pascal involved
yeah,
with that
Pascal
project?
Terrapenni,
Oh
exactly.
my God,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can't
yeah.
believe it.
He
All right,
does incredible stuff. He
go
also has
on.
an Elton John tribute that he
Right,
had a
right,
couple
right.
weeks ago. It was just unbelievable.
Oh, okay. So you're talking about the Beatles, and I interrupted you. You were on something when I interrupted you. I
Yeah, no,
apologize.
all good. Oh yeah, so Bruce Springsteen and Melissa Etheridge
Right.
tributes this Saturday as well.
Okay.
But yeah, we've got it all. I mean, we have a regular karaoke night, as Holden pointed out, on
That's Wednesday.
Wednesdays.
Wednesdays.
That's
Okay.
on
Yeah.
Wednesdays.
Yeah.
All kinds of open mics. At the beginning of the year, we always do a featured, mostly Deej as an NDG showcase, which is run by a guy named Dave Lines, who's an incredible keyboard player here in NDG, and brings back all kinds of events. So in February for Mardi Gras, I think it's the 17th, if I'm not mistaken. He's got a big tribute to the music of New Orleans with a Mardi Gras extravaganza. I mean, they come in costumes, and it's really unbelievable. My band, of course, has played there a bunch of times with my R&B and hip hop and funk stuff. We like a lot. People that come to the club typically really want to hear nostalgia. They want to hear stuff from the 80s, the 70s, the 60s. We've got lots of like old time rock and roll and all that kind of stuff, usually to get people up and dancing. But anything else as well. I mean, we've had Irish Celtic, bands come through, or
the synth-apocalypse folk.
Oh yes, Synthpocalypse once a month, which is electronic music, where it's almost like an open mic, but people come with their synthesizer rigs and just make the most incredible sounds. I mean, it's so we really try to cover it all. We don't want to bar anything at all, as long as it's quality. It just has to be quality.
And these musicians that are coming and playing your establishment, like, they're not unique to NDG. They're coming from all parts of Montreal, off Island.
Yeah.
Like the big band, if I remember correctly, was they weren't where were they from again? The big band.
Mostly, I think I mean, they're from all over. I think a lot of the guys are from the South Shore.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, we come from everywhere for sure.
Yeah, I could just chime in there. I don't think the sound at the Wheel Club, like I was saying earlier, is impeccably good. Like, you can perform at a lot of places, and I have personally rapped at a lot of places in Montreal, and I don't think we've had better sound engineer live experiences than we've had with the Wheel Club. The attentiveness, the skill, the gear is like proper. Like, if you hear somebody sounding bad at the Wheel Club, I can assure you it is not a gear issue. Like, that was one of the. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, go on.
Well, it was one of the first things that I insisted upon when I first got there, was let's switch out the sound system and do this right.
It's incredibly, and they have everything you could need. Whatever your setup is, they'll figure it out. They got keyboards, they got drums, they got all kinds of microphones, sound. Like, I don't know. It's just, I think that's partly why people want to come play at the Wheel Club, because you want to sound good when you're performing live. And even if some venues may look cooler, there's no guarantee you're going to actually sound good when you're like, I've even seen stuff like Club Soda, or if the engineer's not paying attention, like that whole set could sound really bad. And when you have good engineers like that, it really goes a long way in a venue. And I think that's something that makes Wheel Club kind of special, is not only is it this cool hidden spot, but the music literally sounds good.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And indeed, we do pride ourselves on a very warm sounding room. Maybe it's because it's like a lower ceiling with acoustic tiles, or whatever it may be. Maybe it's the curtains that we put up everywhere to hide all of the old Legion style decor. But yeah, it's a nice warm sound, and the gear to go with it, as well as the sound engineers, who we always try to find the best of the best.
Well, aren't you a sound engineer? Because I remember I came there for the big band, and it was you.
Oh yeah, that was me, exactly.
Behind the soundboard.
That's so funny. I mean, that's like the only time I've done sound there in the last I don't know how long, very long time. It's very rare that I end up doing sound there. But yeah, you end up learning, you wear, when you're the president of a place like that, you wear like every hat there is to
Right,
wear.
right.
You know.
But
Yeah.
you have all this experience and knowledge because you've been a professional musician
So
for
that's
a
what I
large,
bring to the club
yeah,
happily, as
yeah,
well as the entrepreneurship, whereas Cindy is very much the bar person, because I
right,
really don't know anything about the bar business,
right.
aside from the fact that I've played in a lot of them.
Yeah, I know nothing about the bar business except I know how to drink drinks.
Exactly, right?
That's my talent.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And play pool, I guess.
I play pool, yes. But I when I go to the wheel club, I am attracted to your pinball machines
Ah, yeah.
because, like you mentioned before, people come there for the nostalgia. They're coming for nostalgia. Is that the
Yeah,
word you use?
yeah.
The
Nostalgia, absolutely. Yeah.
nostalgia. Thank you, nostalgia. And the pinball when I was again in my teens. I remember going downtown to the arcades, and I used to play pinball. That was my thing, right?
Yeah,
You,
likewise.
you too.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you have machines there, and I have a good time playing those. I enjoy myself,
Totally fun.
and they're good machines. They're responsive, and they're not broken.
No, no, the guys from Pinball Medics, they keep coming back, whenever necessary, which is rarely, to fix the machines. It's great. I mean, it worked
Yeah,
out beautifully. Yeah.
yeah, and I have a lot of fun with that. And I also I enjoy the conversation. Every time I go there, people are very friendly. It doesn't matter where they're from. Mind
Yeah.
you, I think that's kind of the magic of NDG, isn't it? That
Yeah.
people are just like, I don't know what it is about the neighborhood, but people just it's laid
Friendly,
back, friendly, right?
eclectic and friendly. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
correct. And meeting all types of people. And it's just I've ran into people there that I hadn't seen in years. It's just funny and just run into them. Hey, what are you doing here? And I'm like, well, what are you doing here? It's like, and it's great. It's a great experience, and I would encourage all our listeners to visit the establishment. So, you know, we talk about like NDG and the artistic community. One of the things that happens in NDG is we have the Porchfest that happens every year, and that's a pretty big event, right?
Mhm.
It's quite spectacular. I had the pleasure of riding around my bike when it happened. I believe this summer. I was also running in the election at the same time, which was
Ah,
kind of
yes.
interesting.
Good way to get out
Yeah,
and get the
I
word
was
out.
I was riding my bike as Trainman. And do you do anything in conjunction with that event? Because do you have any night shows or no?
No, I've tried. I've reached out to them a couple of times, but they're not easy people to get a hold of.
I see.
They do fantastic work, and I would hope,
Yeah,
if you
they
guys are
do.
listening, we're up for it. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it'd be great if we could spend the days going around on our bicycles and end the night in a big like festival fete,
yeah,
at the wheel club and with Sydney behind the bar,
yeah, with a
applying the social grease, so
yeah,
you can say that.
totally, totally, yeah. End
I
off
think
each
that
night with
I think that's a great idea.
I agree.
I think we need to push that and
We are game. We are very
your
game.
game. I like that
Yeah,
your game. Yeah.
yeah.
I also participate back on like keeping on the artistic theme. I participate, as you know, in the NDG Art Hop, and that's going to be another show talking to people about NDG Art Hop. Helen Mayer, who organizes that event, made the comment to me, which I thought was interesting. She said to me, "Do you know that NDG, from like a per capita basis, has the most artists in this most artists anywhere else in the city?" And
Wow, really?
I was like, really, is that real? I don't know. I'm asking you that question. Do you think that's
Well, I
real?
I mean, it might be. I mean, I always figured that might be the plateau,
Right.
but
think it's just
it's
because all
certainly.
of the people who live in NDG go make music and make art in the plateau rather than
Ah, yeah,
maybe.
right.
Because, like, I know a
That
lot of
could be.
people live in the NDG area, especially in hip hop. Like, a lot of us live out in these parts, or let's say the Southwest in general,
Yeah.
right? But there's generally nowhere for us to go perform, generally,
Mhm.
because there is the Wheel Club. But so
Yeah.
you end up on Saint Laurent, or you end up in that parts of town, or like a lot of stuff is happening out there, which is just kind of more of a centralized party thing. And I think NDG is a little bit cursed with being so close to downtown that it's really not inconvenient to go downtown.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, there's a number of great reasons to come to the Wheel Club. That's for sure. Free parking, but the
That's
other
a
thing
huge
is
reason to go to the Wheel Club. Free parking is big.
yeah, better than going
I
downtown.
I can't take my car to the Wheel Club. It won't
Oh,
work.
because you live so close.
Well, it's also I
We-
go to Wheel Club to enjoy myself, and like I said, I like to have drinks,
yeah.
and I don't like drinking and driving. And
Well, yeah,
I could use the exercise, right? So,
totally. And that's a great thing about having a community joint like that is that you don't have to
Right.
drive. You can drink as much as you like, for sure.
Well, can't drink as much. It's called mindful drinking. Clifford.
Mindful, absolutely.
There's a new app that came out, that's called Mindful Drinking. You'll download the
Right.
app, and there's all these new Health Canada has established these new regulations on what the healthy amount of drinking is for
That's a
an
good
adult
idea. That's a
in
good
a
idea.
week, right? So I
Well,
actually
yeah.
I actually punched in the amount of drinks I have in the Wheel Club. I just did that on the app, and it unfortunately told me that I should check into emergency right away. That's a joke.
Instead, you just yeah. Well, so yeah, I mean, the fact is, we're very happy that people consume at the club because that's our revenue. But at the same time, we never wanted to be a bar. Like that
Right.
was never our mission. Our mission
Right.
was to bring music to the community.
That's awesome.
And then fund it, of course, with bar revenue and kitchen revenue. But yeah, I mean, we certainly don't want, like, if people are getting too drunk, we very often will say, actually, pretty much always, we'll tell them, okay, that's that. Yeah.
Cut them off.
No, that's
I've had a lot of fun at Wheel Club. To continue in my other kind of shenanigans, I've made visits to your establishment in as Trainman in my you've seen my full gala.
Yeah.
And
we always welcome Trainman.
That's right. And to the ladies who greeted me once and misidentified me as a stripper.
Oh, that's what that was about. Okay.
I had no idea where Alex was going.
I
with that, but
remember
thought
who
it
you
was perfect
are.
for the title.
Okay? I remember who you are.
That's funny.
So I arrived there, and they're like,
Montagano.
"Oh, the strippers arrived," and they thought it was they obviously, had partaked
funny.
in Cindy's, potions of the night. And
Wow, geez,
Alex,
had I
that's a
known.
big compliment, Alex. You should take that for the compliment it is.
I played it up a bit, I played along with the game, but let it be known that, if
That's
the
funny.
roles,
Had I known, we would have put you on stage.
if the roles were reversed, I don't know how well that would have went over. Just saying.
That's fair.
out
But I'm
loud, right?
saying,
Well,
Alex, at least they wanted you as the stripper.
And if you want to book an event, you've got clout. That's all I'm saying. So,
Oh, I see.
Facts.
Okay.
yeah.
Well,
it could be an alternative career path worth exploring.
Hey, side hustle.
Burlesque, Trainman's
That's
burlesque
right.
endeavors.
Yeah. And we're continuing on this track, aren't we? The other idea I had, and I'm just throwing it out there, and no pressure. But as you know, every Halloween I host a DJ I don't know. He spins records. His thing is vinyl, is analog man, pain in the ass. We won't go on there. But does Wheel Club do anything? Just for Halloween? Because Halloween to me
Oh, for Halloween?
is like.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Halloween's
you-
big at the Wheel Club for
Oh,
sure.
it is. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Tell
yeah.
it.
We end up booking like multiple events because of it. Like leading up to Halloween kind of thing.
Mm.
So last year, what did we have? We had the Alice Cooper tribute.
Right.
Because
Is
that's
it a
perfect for
costume?
Halloween.
Is it a costume party or
Oh yeah,
just
yeah. People are told, come in your costumes. That we give out
Right.
prizes for the best costume.
Right.
It's not a must. People, we're not going to.
Right. Well, I think you should make it a bust, but that's my humble opinion, right?
Yeah,
I'm totally into the I'm totally into the Halloween experience
Well, I've
of, like,
noticed.
of like becoming some sort of how do you say a character or taking on some sort of other personality who you may or have.
Oh yeah,
not
yeah.
experienced before.
We've noticed between Trainman and the whole house decoration thing that you do. If you remember, we actually interviewed you for that as well for TV NDG.
Oh, that's right. You did the Halloween gig.
The Halloween
Yeah,
gig.
the neighbor. Remember the neighbor? He
Yeah.
got asked by the police to stop using the chainsaw as a prop.
Yeah, I can understand.
Yeah,
I can understand.
but he had removed the chain. But I can understand why the police Some of the kids may have found that a little too dissettling.
Yeah.
Oh, we just got another alert here. We should probably announce this online. So it's Jeanette Dupé, 70 years.
She's been missing.
Yeah.
And Mouseville, Quebec.
She drives a BMW X3 2012 white. All right. So you see a 70-year-old driving around in a white Beamer.
So Cliff.
Who seems lost.
Cliff, the question really is, on October 31st, is the DJ I Don't Know after party going to be at Wheel Club?
Oh,
that's what I'm wondering.
Absolutely.
Hey, I you know, DJ I Don't Know, you know, for whatever you guys want to think, he's not me, and I can tell you, he's very temperamental.
I've met DJ I Don't Know. I remember him very well.
Doesn't take instructions very well. I'll say that much, okay? And
just throwing it into the universe.
Fair enough.
But it could happen.
Alex is the plug to DJ I Don't Know.
You got to talk to
DJ I Don't Know.
You got to talk to
you
Luba.
Make it seem like it's his own idea. That's the thing.
Yeah, you got to talk. No, you got to get Luba to ask him to do it. He'll do anything for Luba, right?
Oh
that's
man,
that's
how
I do it.
Have any connections to Luba?
Well, Pascal Trepani.
Oh yeah.
Used to play in Luba's band. So
okay.
That's your gateway. That's your and she's a wonderful person. A Montrealer. I would love to see her come and play at the Wheel Club. Actually, I think that would just be awesome. Don't you
cool
think?
To get Aldo Nova as well, maybe. Some of the locals. Pagliaro would be another one. Would be pretty cool.
What about Gino Vanelli? Black cars look better in the shade.
That'd be amazing. Love Gino Vanelli.
That'd just be like great. That'd be a great night at the Wheel Club. That would be that would be that would be awesome.
Well,
man.
You know what we could do if DJ I Don't Know doesn't cooperate? We could do the DJ I Don't Know tribute night.
Oh man, perfect.
Got
Holden?
it. That's
going to be your baby.
I think it'll happen, but his impertinence and his annoying nature is just part of the the gig, right? If you know what I'm talking about.
Tell him we got Pac-Man and
pinball. He'd be interested. Yeah. I think Pac-Man too, because that's analog technology. Is it Pac-Man or is that digital? It's digital.
Early digital. Yeah,
early digital. I don't know. He's a rotary kind of guy,
Oh man! Well, so we can play pool and pinball. And
that's
darts.
Right.
We have dartboards, by the way.
We have dartboards at. I always found the combination of darts and alcohol kind of weird, but we won't go there.
So I do believe though there is a bit of a time limit today, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, and actually we got through the agenda, and I always I like ending the show by thanking our NDG guest and for joining us, Clifford. It was absolutely wonderful. You're a kind gentleman. Thank you very much for sharing your story, your personal story, and the story of Wheel Club. I really want to be active in helping you grow the establishment in any way that I can, because I think it's important that we grow and appreciate our own establishments, our own businesses, right? And saying that, Holden and I. Holden, the lovable pickle hater.
Not like pickles.
We're trying to build something here, right? And I would really appreciate it. A year from now, perhaps, or when something new evolves and develops vis-a-vis Wheel Club, like we land the Luba concert, right?
Oh man, wouldn't that be cool?
We come back on and we're like pumped. We're telling everybody, hey, you gotta come to Wheel Club. Luba's going to be there. Gino Vanelli's going to be there, right? And I would like actually, Holden, I have a suggestion. What about before we start the podcast Tuesday nights, we reach out to Clifford and Cindy and see what's up on the docket for the week in terms of live shows, and we could just give a plug
So
for
what's
you guys.
Beautiful about that
awesome. Thank you.
is we can go to thewheelclub.com, and they have this wonderful calendar feature
There we go. I don't have to make a phone call. There we go.
Wheelclubndg.com, actually.
Sorry, wheelclubndg.com. Apologize. And what's also good is if you want to throw an event at the wheelclubndg.com, and then you just kind of hit up Cliff, you look at that calendar, you look in the future dates, you see a date that's not open, that doesn't have an event, and you go, "Hi, Cliff, here's my event idea. How about we run it at Wheel Club?" And then, if as long as the date's open, Cliff is pretty accommodating.
Absolutely.
So
and private parties too, by the way. We do lots of private parties.
How does it work at your establishment? If someone wants to have an event, they are allowed to. They keep the cover at the door, and you keep the proceeds at the bar. Is that how it works?
Yeah, typically that's the way it works.
Okay.
Which I don't think I can emphasize to y'all how uncommon that really is for a lot of genres of music out there, and that it is a really freaking good deal. I can't emphasize that enough.
So because I'm a musician, I know both sides of the business, and I know what it's like to be on either side of that situation.
Right. So on that note, if you go to the Wheel Club and you're there for entertainment, an important part of the process is to consume alcohols.
Yes. Copious amounts.
If you don't want to drink, they do have dumplings.
They do dumplings too, and they're excellent. Yes,
yeah, dumplings are delicious.
Thank you so much, Cindy. Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate Sorry, go ahead.
I'd like to just make a couple of shout outs because we do have two other partners, and one of them is my good friend KJ, and the other one is Edmund LaFlamme, who's contributed greatly from the technical standpoint.
Also, Cindy's in the chat saying she's really enjoying this.
Oh, good. Laughing, I hope. I hope she's getting a good laugh from some of this. And I also want to say that you guys are amazing in terms of your community work, because I know how much you've done and what you continue to do. First of all, now you're doing this great endeavor, which is really, really important. But also, Holden, I know you're on the board with Notre Dame des Arts.
That's true.
NDG Arts, which is another absolutely very important arts-based organization in NDG. And Alex, there's few people out there, I think, that have done the work that you've done to bring people's attention to the important issues in NDG. And in my mind, you absolutely deserve to be mayor of this great borough.
Oh, you're so kind.
I really hope it comes to be at some point.
I'm flattered.
Because you give a damn, and how many people get into that line of business, in that line of work, who actually give a damn? They're very few and far between.
So you're so kind.
Trainman president.
Thank you. You're so kind, and I want to say that it's an honor to serve, and an honor to volunteer my time. I really believe in this community, and but we're only as strong as we make it strong, right? So I guess that's my very basic message, right?
We can all be grateful to both of you guys, for real.
Yeah, it's a collective effort. It's a collective effort.
I'm trying to grow.
Holden needs to get over this pickle thing of his, right?
Tell me about the pickle thing.
Next show,
I don't like pickles.
Okay. So, next show, is this a teaser for the next show?
Next show. I wanted to see.
I got it on the chain. That's a dead pickle, like right there.
Oh man!
It's basically once upon a time on Twitch, I freestyled a song called "I Don't Like Pickle Chips," which I'm pretty sure I performed at the Wheel Club at this point. If not that, I performed the follow-up song. But basically it was kind of a joke because people were trying to tell me I can't make a song about hating on pickle chips, and I was like, what the fuck? I'm a grown-ass man. How can you tell me how to live? And so I made this song, and then it grew into a whole phenomenon in my life where almost every day, every couple of days now maybe, I still get tagged in pickle-related items since October 2022 until today. I get tagged on Instagram or Facebook. People send me stuff. So we turn it into merch. I've got patches for sale. I've got all kinds of stuff. It's a whole endeavor. So there's a 0% chance you stop when something pays you in life. Right? I've sold over $1,000 of gross revenue in merch items related to pickles. So it's and that's without a marketing plan. That's just, I accidentally started a clothing company, and now I have to figure out how to do that properly, because believe it or not, the polarity in pickles is so big that the people who get bullied for not liking pickles will buy that merch, and then the other group of people will buy it as a counter protest.
Man,
So
that's incredible.
so saying that, next show we're going to talk about cucumbers.
I like cucumbers.
Why?
That's what's
Good
crazy.
segue.
I want to
like
stir that stuff up.
I just don't like pickles.
All right. On that note, thank you so much
just
for
wanted
listening.
to say, thanks to everybody out there watching. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, all this stuff, and most importantly, tell
YouTube.
your friends that we're out here, that you should come subscribe to the Trainman Report on YouTube. Share this stuff with your friends. If you want to come on the show and promote your business, your group, your whatever, that's what we're trying to do. It's not just about bike paths. It's about trying to build something for the community, to let all the aspects of the community show, so that when we talk about the community, it is broader than just the limited perspectives each of us individuals may have. So thank you for participating in that, and it's cool to see that the number of people who are actually sticking through the whole stream is getting longer each week. So to the 7 of you that stuck around pretty much the whole show, thank you a lot. It means a lot. So
thank you.
Appreciate that, and tell your friends and live
Tell your
long
friends
and prosper, everyone. And then I'm gonna just start the raid on Twitch because we have enough people to do the raid, which is really good.
Yeah, I always have a tough time with it. Yeah.
There we go. Oh, but can you do
You
this?
gotta practice it. It's not like
No.
it's not like a one thing.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Oh, close.
I'm
Close.
doing it. Am I there?
So it's like
right.
this, and then.
1 second, Alex. Sorry, it's taking me a second to get off. You gotta just be patient. Be patient, Alex. Awesome. We'll be good in about 8 seconds, everyone.
All right. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Be well.
Ciao, ciao.
Be happy.